let's shoot some primitive arrowheads into some ballistic gel. Alright, so I have my Mesolithic styled bow, which is made out of hackberry. It's about 65 pounds on the draw. And I got a quiver full of arrows that have everything from a few bone projectile points and then several stone points. Over to my side I have a chunk of ballistics gel that is about 2 feet thick, and the idea is that 2 foot thickness is going to simulate really punching through an animal's hide, trying to get through the ribs, that tendon, that muscle, and eventually making its way to that thoracic cavity. In my personal opinion, the only best analog to actually use for testing stone points and bone points is an actual carcass, something like a pig or a piece of roadkill. I don't have any at this time, but I do have some ballistics gel. You do have to keep in mind, anytime you're firing arrows, you are firing through all sorts of things. First, I just have a basic bone tip, hafted with sinew and some pine pitch glue. Another bone tip, this one is more like a harpoon. It's got some jagged teeth on there to really stick into a fish. This one is burned. The tip's been burned and cut and then wrapped with sinew. Next I have your kind of traditional styled arrow point, just a small little projectile hafted with some pine pitch glue and sinew. I have a laurel leaf styled point that is a little bit more longer. That one is hafted with pine pitch and sinew. I have another traditional styled arrow point. This one is just hafted with sinew. Another style of arrow point, this one is just hafted with pine pitch glue. Last, I have a Neolithic styled point that is just small little shards of stone connected with some pine pitch glue. You can see right over my left shoulder is that little ballistics gel piece. I'm really focusing on that wound cavity, how big that wound cavity is, and will it lead to a quicker bleed out if I was actually hunting with these points. I'm going to be firing multiple times to give you guys different angles and giving you just some kind of insight into what these stone points and bone points can actually do to something that simulates the muscle fibers of an animal. Oh, that's pretty good. That slice and dice the whole way through. Lost some of the stone tips, but that's good. Now those are stuck in there. This one about almost 1.5 feet through there. Lost these back ones, but I mean, you could glue some other ones on there and get it back into action. Oh, that one went deep. That is just that far from sticking out the backside. Let's pull it out. That's how far that guy went through, so pretty good on the stone. Let's do it again. Good couple inches. Sinew binding's really holding. It's clean. Well, that broke this arrow. Could have been a crack in it. You might be able to see the point is stuck in there where it broke off at the haft. Cool. That was one of the bone points. Bone tip broke off. It's in there. You got one stone in there, a couple stone shards, and that bone one is just sitting in there. Went about 7 inches through, no damage. Nice. Well, that one's just poking out the back. Just barely. Look at this. That's good penetration. Just the tip of this was just gently protruding out the back. Not bad. I like the stone and sinew so far. That went through, no issues. A little high though. Let's do that one again. Just to the back again. Man, it's almost getting through. Good wound cavities on all these. That first arrow, I mean, that caused a huge wound cavity. I can pull the little stone fragments out. And these other wound cavities are at least an inch wide. Same thing on the bone that's stuck in there. Another stone. That one lost its tip. Good wound cavity. I mean, that guy is at least an inch and a half. That's at least an inch. So after everything's said and done, a lot of these arrows did some serious damage to this ballistics gel. That Neolithic style arrow with all the little blades on it really made a huge wound cavity. That's at least 3 fingers across. And there's actually still some fragments in there, deep in there. That laurel leaf is still stuck in there. That bone projectile that with all the teeth on it, kind of that harpoon shape, that's still stuck in there. But some of these wound cavities are at least an inch across, making entry. Some of these stone points traveled all the way to the back, and this, ballistics gel is about that thick. So these points will definitely work. They'll definitely make an impact. For the shooter, you just have to be prepared to say, all right, I'm gonna lose projectiles, they're gonna get stuck on the inside, I'm gonna have to rehaft them and re-sinew them and put some more pine pitch on there, really reinforce them. Definitely will get the job done. Bottom line, I think when we think about it and we shoot bone or stone projectiles, when you think about the target we're going after, the type of bone we're using, the type of stone that we're using, and really what sort of wound cavity, what sort of trauma is it going to create? If it does it right, creates a big wound cavity, goes deep into that thoracic cavity or hits a major artery, we'll get a quick bleed out, we got a meal. So bottom line, stone points, bone points, they'll definitely work. The right bone, the right stone, the right hafting, the right target, you can get the job done. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the bush.